Chinese President Xi Jinping was welcomed by his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin on Thursday at the Kremlin as he arrived in Moscow for a 4-day visit. According to Associated Press, Xi landed in Moscow Wednesday, at a time when fighting with Ukraine, which began more than 3 years ago, has closed airports in the Moscow region. Putin hailed Xi as our main guest at the Victory Day festivities due take place May 9th. The Russian leader noted that he and Xi would discuss bilateral and global issues at their summit in Moscow. The two leaders will also discuss Russia's supply of oil and gas to China, as well as cooperation within BRICS, the bloc of developing economies that initially included Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa but has since expanded to more countries. Putin and Xi have met over 40 times as their governments align their foreign policies to challenge the Western-led liberal democratic world order. According to Associated Press, Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived in Moscow on Wednesday to pay a state visit to Russia and attend the celebrations marking the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Soviet Union's Great Patriotic War.
An important component of the rocket control unit are altimeters. There are quite a few companies involved in their production, and the failure of even one of them could be critical for Russia for the production of not only the Kh-101 but also other cruise missiles in general, as discussed in the 24-channel article. There are quite a few companies that are involved in the production of altimeters for Russian cruise missiles. The general scheme of the production cycle of altimeters for cruise missiles of various types look like this. UPKB Dettol sends requests to the purchaser TRV for the quantity of necessary goods, after which the royal firm buys the necessary goods from various suppliers and sends them to the customer. Altimeters are a rare commodity that is an important component of the missile control unit. Thanks to this piloting device, a cruise missile can navigate in space, bypass terrain, and understand when it needs to rise up or descend down to bypass obstacles or air defense systems. Without such a technologically complex component, all cruise missiles simply could not be used for firing. There are many complex moments in this process that could lead to a complete disruption of the supply of components to factories and, as a result, leave the aggressor country, Russia, without critical important missiles. For example, it could be the arrival of Ukrainian drones or missiles which literally cut off JSC NPO Strela from all supply chains for at least a whole month, or the emergence of problems with settlements between TRV Engineering and Kazakhstani suppliers of tantalum products from which capacitators are made, due to which the Russians had to urgently look for components of Chinese manufacture. It is clear that neither the arrivals nor the refusal of suppliers are capable of 100% disrupting the altimeter production processes. At the same time, each complication of the scheme, the search for intermediaries or enterprises that are ready to take direct or indirect part in the assembly of missiles, greatly complicates the path to the Russians' goal, the murder of Ukrainians. At the same time, it is the electronic component in this type of ammunition that is the most sensitive point for the Russians, since it is simply impossible to replace certain microcircuits, capacitors, or matrices, and replacing suppliers can sometimes take months. Moreover, the overall situation with altimeter components in Russia is difficult. In general, it is so bad that they often have to make ammunition from parts that have not passed the suitability test, because state defense orders cannot be disrupted because Putin needs shelling here and now. Manufacturers prefer to fulfill the terms of contracts on time, at all costs, and whether the missile will look normally or fall on the heads of someone in Belgorod, these are already nuances. The article says,